Kia ora, and welcome to Inside the FMA, a podcast by New Zealand's Financial Markets Authority. Today, I'm joined by Jocelyn McKernan from our Operational Resilience team to explore a critical obligation for all licensed financial institutions, ensuring that they are operationally resilient. Welcome, Jocelyn.
Thanks, Heidi. It's lovely to be here.
Now, before we get down into all the details, can you tell us what is operational resilience?
Yes. So operational resilience is the ability of an entity to continue to deliver critical operations through a disruptive event, basically. The financial sector services industry is well across the vital nature of resilience. So they know that the ability to anticipate, withstand and recover from adverse events is critical. And this is because rising threats, dependence on third parties, and also, let's face it, the increasing nature of the digital delivery of financial services all plays into the vulnerability potentially of the sector to disruption.
Yeah. And financial institutions are required to comply with a set of standard conditions as part of their COFI licence obligations.
Yeah.
Is operational resilience part of that?
Very much so. So operational resilience is a kind of non-negotiable requirement. And these standard conditions came into force through the Financial Markets Amendment Act in 2022 and also the Financial Markets Conduct Act in 2013. So they are compulsory obligations, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what exactly are standard conditions 4 and 5 of COFI, and why are they legally binding for all licensed financial service providers?
So standard condition 4 covers outsourcing. Standard condition 5 covers business continuity and technology systems. And when they're used in conjunction, they form the fundamental requirements for operational resilience for the financial sector. Standard condition 4 really is trying to ensure that if a financial institution outsources any system or process or service that is critical for them in providing their own services to customers, they must also be confident that the provider themselves, so the third-party supplier, can maintain the same sort of standard when that system, service or process is outsourced as they could if they'd kept that in-house themselves.
So when outsourcing, I imagine due diligence is really, really important. So what steps should a financial institution undertake around due diligence before they outsource?
You're absolutely right, Heidi. So I think it's one of the most crucial steps. So before you kind of sign any contract, it's really important to assess your potential outsource providers, and we call that doing your due diligence. So it covers aspects such as looking at any public reports about that supplier, looking at their complaints handling processes, seeing if there's anything in the public record about them, looking at where their jurisdiction, their home jurisdiction is, and any kind of regulatory obligations that apply there, because they don't always line up with ours here in New Zealand. And it's those types of things. It's trying to find the best fit, really, and making sure that whoever you outsource your process or critical system to is capable of providing that service to the same standard that you would, and is capable of providing a reliable and good service.
Mm. So once outsourcing's in place, how should this financial institution then go about monitoring and managing the supplier to ensure that they are complying with what's required?
In the first instance, it's establishing contracts that are pretty solid. So it's making sure that the contract has provisions, maybe termination provisions. It allows the financial institution to conduct kind of monitoring, have oversight of the third-party supplier. It's important to have regular reviews, so regular risk-based reviews, monitoring visits. I think fundamentally the relationship you have with your supplier is really important, so that you do get to know them really, really well. Yeah.
What do you think Standard Condition 4 means for consumer fairness?
It should be implemented in a way that doesn't kind of negatively impact a fair conduct program. And it also helps ensure fair conduct, because if something does go wrong with a third-party supplier or with their services, it's the customer who's impacted at the end of the day. So I think, it demonstrates the importance of having guardrails around third-party dependencies.
Absolutely. Now, Joss, what is Standard Condition 5?
So Standard Condition 5 covers business continuity and technology systems. So
what is a business continuity plan, or BCP, and how should it be tailored under Standard Condition 5?
So under Standard Condition 5, financial institutions should have and maintain a business continuity plan. And what's important under Standard Condition 5 to understand is that doesn't just apply to your technology systems. It applies to the whole of your ability to provide financial services overall. So it covers every kind of essential operation of the financial institution itself. So in that sense, I guess proportionality comes into it. So a much larger institution, we would expect that they would have very comprehensive procedures and plans in place to cover aspects like disaster recovery, say of a data center, to be able to maintain critical technology systems, really process and procedures to cover every aspect. It could include, key staff, for example, key processes themselves, business processes, that type of thing. Whereas a smaller entity might have a more pared down version of a business continuity plan that maybe covers having a different office location should, an earthquake happen or some kind of natural disaster happen.
So what does operational resilience mean under Standard Condition 5 when it comes to technology?
Yeah, so for technology, what we're looking for is for financial institutions to maintain what we call CIA, so confidentiality, integrity and availability of information and technology systems. We are also expecting that any implementation of Standard Condition 5, again, won't negatively impact on the Fair Conduct Programme. But those are the basic things we're looking for, yeah.
How must financial institutions test and update their BCP and technology in line with Standard Condition 5? Yeah,
so for BCP purposes, what we're expecting financial institutions to do is regularly test the business continuity plan. We say regularly, but at least annually. So that's very important. So things like crisis scenario testing, that type of thing can be really, really useful for a financial institution to determine whether people and teams understand the roles, the incident management plans themselves, the protocols, etc. It's also important to, as you say, maintain the BCP, so keep it current. So anytime there's a material change, for example, if you were to change your third-party supplier for something that's critical, or move to a new premises, that type of thing, then you would want to update your business continuity plan to reflect that, yes. Mm-hmm. And then as far as notification is concerned, our expectation is for firms to notify us as soon as possible, or at least within 72 hours, should something materially impact their critical technology systems.
Joss, this feels like a big question, but to summarise, how can financial institutions build compliance into their operations?
Thanks, Heidi. It is quite a big question. Yes. I think compliance works best when it's integrated into governance and risk management frameworks. It's probably worth considering them as being essential to the ability to provide a reliant, trustworthy, reliable business. So things like board-led reviews of incidents or compliance practices or implementation of these requirements, perhaps self-assessments, perhaps external reviews or third-party reviews, as well as using, the FMA resources. I think these all help embed, operational practices into the operational resilience practices, rather, into the culture of an organisation rather than just into its policies.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, Joss. There's certainly a lot that goes into operational resilience, and it's probably really great to remind financial institutions that as part of COFI, Standard Condition 4 and 5 do apply to them, and it's quite critical that they are regularly monitoring and ensuring that things like BCPs and outsourcing arrangements are kept up to date. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And I should add that we do have some resources available on our operational resilience webpage on the FMA website.
Make sure you get along to our website and check out all the resources that Joss has talked about. You can find them at www.fma.govt.nz. See you next time.